says that he is in the Father. The Father's in the Son. Empty nets made for the fish and blind eyes that see. Didn't he used to work with wood in Galilee? Now he's in the synagogue, telling people they are wrong to live as whitewashed tombs full of dead men's bones. Some say he is the Son of God. Others laugh and call him mad. But do you think he is who he says he is? Or just a carpenter gone bad? Talking about him wherever I go. They say he teaches with authority. This is something I don't know. They say it is his fervent prayer that we'd stay in the Father's care and believe that he is the Word made man. Say he is the Son of God. Others laugh and call him mad. Do you think he is who he says he is? Or just a carpenter gone bad? Little saunter down memory lane there. Let's see. Sorry about this. Start breaking out tuning jokes like, it was in tune when I bought it, I don't know what happened. But I won't, I'll spare you. This is another Christmas song. We're told that the plan of salvation was in the mind and the heart of God, well, ages past, ageless ages, an innumerable amount of ages, a really long time. And yet for us, the story really starts in the incarnation. Nothing that comes next can come next unless that happens. So this is a song called God With Us. Make wide the way and straight the path, God with us. He comes in mercy, not in wrath, God with us. Behold an ancient mystery, God stepping into history. Hail the incarnate deity, God with us. Goodwill to men and peace on earth, God with us. He comes to us by humble birth, God with us. Clothed alike in flesh and bone, He comes to make His Father known. His Spirit says we're not alone, God with us, God with us. Because we fell, Yeshua HaMashiach, Emmanuel, God with us. It was always meant to be. God with us, with you, with me. Innocent as a newborn child, God with us. The souls of sinners reconciled, God with us. From Bethlehem to Calvary, he comes to set the captives free, that every grave might empty be. God with us, God with us. What a story to tell. Jesus Christ, our Emmanuel. The lame will dance and the blind will see. God with us, with you, with me. Not by merit do we proclaim. He is fully God and fully man, blessed be his name. For the Eternal One has surely kept his vow to be God with us. God with us, here and now. So light the lights and trim the tree. God with us, a holiday with a mongrel pedigree. God with us. But at the heart of why we're here, the morning after midnight clear, reverence replaces fear. God with us, God with us. Our hearts compel our worship of the living God, Emmanuel. May his Spirit give open eyes to see. God with us, with you, with me. God with us, with you, with me. God with us. Thank you. Thank you. Easter season 1977, I'm standing on a football field, Cerritos College in Norwalk, California. There's a sunrise service, Calvary Chapel of Downey. And the guy who's leading the singing, Steve Todd, sings all the usual songs that you would expect to hear from that era. But Steve was born and raised in a Lutheran church, and so out of his Lutheran back pocket, he takes this song and he sings it. I fell in love with this song, and I've played it ever since. Not continuously, just intermittently like I am now. For we're told that unless Jesus is risen from the dead, we are the most miserable of creatures. It's not just dogma, it's not just teaching, although, and that stuff is important. It's important to know good stuff, right stuff. Let's not undervalue that. But for us who are fortunate enough to be adopted into the household of faith by no doing of our own, Jesus being risen from the dead is a promise that we cash in, that one day we will be with him and we will be like him. triumphant from the grave. He lives eternally to save. He lives my mansion to prepare. He lives to lead me safely there. And grants me daily breath. He lives and I shall conquer death. He lives and while he lives I'll say, he lives my prophet, priest and king. All glory to his name. He lives, my Jesus, still the same. And oh, the sweet joy this sentence gives. I know that my Redeemer lives. I know that my Redeemer lives. Nice job. Nice job. This next song actually started out as a homework assignment. It was a songwriting class being taught many, many years ago by a real dear brother in the faith who is an incredible songwriter, and the kind of guy who can, has Grammys on his mantle and can say things like, yeah, Frank Sinatra recorded my songs, A guy named Al Kasha. And Al had a bunch of church people gathered in his living room to teach us how to write songs. Now, there actually is skill involved in writing songs. Inspiration can sometimes carry you through the whole process. Sometimes inspiration, although it's wonderful, is not quite enough. You may have witnessed that time where someone gets in front of you and says, I'd like to share a song that God gave me. And you hear the song and you think, wow, I bet you he was glad to get rid of that one. So, again, I don't mean to be uncharitable here, but I trust you know where I'm coming from. Writing songs is like building a patio. You want sincerity, you want competence, you want it all. So, the assignment was to write a song based on something found in the Gospel of John, bring it to the class a couple weeks later. My friend Michael Aguilar and I were partnering up in the class, and so we did the obvious disciplined and spiritual thing you'd expect a couple, giants of the faith like us to do. We waited until the night before the assignment was due. We took our idea from John chapter 1 because we didn't have time to read any further. And here's the song we came up with. Come and see, come and see, come and see a man from heaven. Come and see, hear him speak. He has seen the face of God. Come and see, come and see this Jesus of Nazareth. Come and see the one that we have heard of all the wilderness, a voice from the sky loud and clear, a still small voice deep inside, and a voice still ringing in my ear, saying, follow me, follow me, and I will show you my Father. Follow me, and you will see the heavens opened wide. Come and see, come and see, come and see this man from heaven. What could it be? Could it be? We will see the face of God. Or could it be? Could it be? We will see the face of God. Thank you. Thank you. People always ask me, what grade did you get? It was a pass-fail situation, so we got in under the wire for that. Well, I got to tell you, I'm more happy than I can tell you to have Billy here with me tonight. We've been...
Wow.
We have been, not to write a novel here, but with some other fellows who are just near and dear to me, we meet every week. And that's how I got to know Billy first, as just a guy that I prayed with and hung with, and I knew he was a musician. And then we started clowning around, playing guitars and stuff, and one thing led to another, and here we are. And he's just a better partner in crime, in the best sense of the word crime, you could never have. And so it's just a pleasure. And we're going to play a few of his tunes now. So let's.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, let's see here. Worship comes out of an interesting place. When you talk about like worship songs or worship music, it's only, a lot of times it's only when you face insurmountable obstacles in your life that you're beyond your depth and beyond your strength, that you have to go back and remember how God was faithful in your life. And that's where worship comes out of. And I think when you read the Psalms, like this Psalm, Psalm 40, talks about David being delivered from out of the miry clay and his feet set upon the rock. So when we get to places in our lives when we can't handle it, we have to go back and remember God was faithful in that time, and many times before. So there we go. And I'm going to need your help. I was sick all week, so you got to help me on this one. You got to sing along with me and stuff. So, all right. I waited for the Lord on high. I waited, and He heard my cry. One more time. I waited for the Lord on high. I waited, and He heard my cry. Well, He pulled me out of my despair, showed me where to walk, from corner to security, from quicksand to a rock. I waited for the Lord on high. I waited, and He heard my cry. And I'll sing to let the people know that I have been restored. return and trust in the Lord. I waited for the Lord on high, for the Lord on high. I waited, and He heard my cry. There's a new song that's in my heart to sing, a new song, praises for the King. I waited for the Lord on high. I waited, and He heard my cry. One more time. I waited for the Lord on high. I waited, and He heard my cry, and He heard my cry, and He heard my cry, and He heard my cry. You have been a shelter, Lord, to every generation, a sanctuary from the storm. To every generation, Lord. Before the birth of the world's great wonders, lofty mountains high. Oh Lord, You were there, the Lord, throughout all of time. You've seen the years pass in untold numbers, as in a single night. You've seen the lifetime of man fade quickly before the light. You've been a shelter. You have been a shelter, Lord, to every generation, a sanctuary from the storm. To every generation, Lord. Our years go by before Your eyes. You know our rebellious ways. Make us wise to live holy lives in the balance of all of our days. You have been a shelter, Lord, to every generation, a sanctuary from the storm. To every generation, oh Lord, You have been a shelter, Lord, to every generation, a sanctuary from the storm. To every generation, Lord. 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 You know, you've all been sitting for a long time, so why don't you stand up and we'll do kind of a zippy little number here together. All right, here we go. To the reigning King of heaven, hallelujah, hallelujah. To the one whose life was given, glory to your name, hallelujah.